My name is Emma Carter. I'm 28 years old. And 13 years ago, on the worst night of my entire life, my dad looked me dead in the eyes and said 7 words I will never ever forget. Get out. You are not my daughter. I was 15. Standing in the doorway. Rain so loud I could barely hear myself think. My jacket wasn't even zipped yet. And you want to know what made it worse? The reason he said it. My younger sister had lied. Not some little slip. A cold, calculated, on-purpose lie, one she'd been building for weeks like a trap. And my parents believed every single word without asking me one single question. 3 hours later, a police officer called my parents and told them to get to the hospital. When my dad walked into that emergency room and saw who was sitting right beside my hospital bed, holding my hand, his face went completely white. His hands started shaking so bad he grabbed the doorframe just to stay on his feet. Because the woman sitting next to me wasn't a neighbor. Wasn't some random person. It was Dr. Caroline Webb, one of the most well-known researchers in the entire state of Michigan. She had found me on the side of a highway, bleeding in the rain after a car knocked me 15 feet through the air. That one night changed absolutely everything. And last spring, I walked onto a stage at my sister's college graduation as the keynote speaker. My parents had zero idea I was coming. Before I tell you what happened the moment they saw my face, you have to stay with me because this story goes so much deeper than you think. If you're someone who's ever been counted out by the people who are supposed to love you most, this one's for you. Hit subscribe right now and ring that bell. This channel, Silent Revenge, was made for survivors. And drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from and what time it is there. I seriously want to know. Okay, let's go all the way back to the start. I figured out pretty young what the rules were in our house in Columbus, Ohio. My sister's tears were always worth more than my wins. I was 11 when I took first place at the regional science fair. My water filtration project beat out 42 other kids. I ran home with that blue ribbon gripped so tight in my fist the edges dug into my palm. I burst through the front door yelling for my mom. She hugged me. She smiled. That's amazing, Em. Then the back door opened. My sister Brianna, 8 years old, came in from dance practice. Face all red. She'd stumbled during rehearsal and some girls had laughed at her. Mom's arms left me mid-hug. She dropped to her knees and pulled Brianna close. I stood there in the kitchen. Blue ribbon in my hand. Nobody asked to see it. That was just how it was. Brianna needed more. Brianna was sensitive. Brianna had to be handled carefully. I learned to keep my wins to myself. To need less. To shrink. By 14, I'd stopped showing Mom and Dad my report cards. Straight A's weren't interesting when Brianna's drama was happening. When I got into a 2-week science research program at Ohio State full ride, I was over the moon. Dad looked up from his phone. Nice, Emma. Brianna burst into tears. Why does she always get the cool stuff? That's not fair. Mom rubbed Brianna's back. Emma, maybe this year isn't the right time. Your sister needs. I need her here, Brianna cut in. I didn't go. Mom and Dad called it family unity. I called it what it actually was. Brianna was the sun in that house and I was just supposed to orbit her. No questions asked. So I made myself small. Quiet. Easy. But a breaking point was coming. I just had no idea it would show up dressed in a thunderstorm. Brianna, 12 by now, would take my stuff without asking. When I'd say something, always calm, always quiet, she'd flat out deny it. I never touched your hoodie. Even when it was literally right there on her bed. Mom would sigh. Emma, don't start something. Then $50 went missing from Mom's wallet. Brianna told Mom and Dad she saw me near the purse that morning. I hadn't been anywhere near it. I'd left for school 40 minutes early to work on a group project. Dad sat me down in the living room. Did you take money from your mom's purse? No. Brianna says she saw you. Brianna's lying. His jaw locked up like I'd said something filthy. Do not accuse your sister. But I didn't. That's enough. I lost my phone for 3 weeks. Lost my shot at summer science camp. And Brianna stood at the top of the stairs the whole time watching it happen. When Mom and Dad turned their backs, she smiled at me. Not a little smirk. A full smile. Slow and happy. That $50 was just a test run. She was learning exactly how far she could take things. It only got worse from there. Cracked window, my fault. A test Brianna bombed, I should have helped her more. A rumor at school that Brianna cheated on a quiz, I must have started it. Every single time they picked her tears over my truth. By 15 I felt like a ghost in my own home. They're but invisible unless somebody needed someone to pin something on. 2 more years until college, I told myself. I can do 2 more years. I was so wrong. There was a boy named Tyler in my AP chemistry class. Super nice kid, genuinely terrible at balancing equations. He'd asked me for help a few times, so I stayed after class and walked him through the material. That was it. Study help. Nothing else. What I didn't know, Brianna had a massive crush on Tyler. Like obsessive. She'd followed his Instagram 3 times and deleted it so she wouldn't look thirsty. She'd written his name in her notebook margins. The whole thing. One Tuesday afternoon, Tyler caught me at my locker. Hey, Emma. You seriously saved my grade yesterday. I laughed. Anytime. Maybe we study together before midterms? At the library. Sure, works for me. He walked off. I turned around. Brianna was standing 20 feet down the hallway. Completely still. Face white as copy paper. That night at dinner she didn't say one word. Just pushed food around her plate while Mom kept asking if she was okay. I know now that silence from Brianna was always more dangerous than her crying. I just didn't know it yet. That Thursday, my biology class had a guest speaker, Dr. Caroline Webb, a professor from the University of Michigan. She was talking about her research on education and equal access for students. When class ended, I hung back to ask her questions. She seemed genuinely into it. You've got a really curious mind, she said and handed me her card. Don't let anybody dim that. I tucked the card in my pocket and walked home thinking about it. I had absolutely no idea that woman was going to end up saving my life. The next Friday, storm warnings started coming in. A massive system was moving toward Columbus. Everyone was stocking up. Brianna still wasn't talking to me, still wouldn't look at me. I figured she'd get over it by the weekend. I had no idea what she was getting ready to do. Rain came down starting around 6. Dinner was real quiet. Dad's phone kept buzzing with weather alerts. Brianna picked at her plate. I could feel her watching me even when I wasn't looking up. After dinner, I went to my room to do homework. Outside, the wind was going crazy. Rain beating the windows like it was angry at something. Kind of night where you feel lucky to be inside. Around 8, I heard it. Crying downstairs. Brianna. Loud, heavy sobs. My stomach dropped. Baby, what's wrong? Mom's voice. Soft. Worried. More crying. I sat on my bed and waited. Then Dad's voice, sharp and fast like a slap. Emma, get down here. Right now. I walked down those stairs slowly. Every step felt heavy. Brianna was on the couch with her face buried in Mom's shoulder. Mom was stroking her hair. Dad was by the window with his arms crossed and his face red. What's going on? I asked. Brianna looked up. Eyes puffy. Fresh tears. And for just one tiny fraction of a second, less than a heartbeat, I saw something sitting behind those tears. Something cold. Steady. Then it was gone and she was crying again. Tell her, Dad said, ice in his voice. Brianna's lips shook. Why do you hate me so much? I don't hate you. Then why have you been talking trash about me at school? About me and Tyler? Saying I cheated? Everything went sideways in my head. What? I haven't said anything about you. Don't, Mom said, quiet and flat. Don't lie to her face. Brianna pulled out her phone with shaky hands and showed Mom a screenshot. A group chat. Messages that were supposed to be from my account, nasty, mean stuff, things I would never say to a single person. But there was my name. My photo right next to it. I didn't send those. Someone used my account. Stop. Dad's voice broke like something snapping. Just stop. I'm not lying. And Tyler, Brianna whispered, voice jumping. You knew I liked him. You've been meeting him at the library. He told somebody he thinks you're pretty. We're study partners. That's all. You tried to steal him from me. She was on her feet now, voice high and shaking. And last week you pushed me on the stairs. Look. She pushed up her sleeve. A bruise. Dark purple. Right on her forearm. I stared at it. I never put a hand on you. She did, Mom. I didn't want to say anything because I felt bad for her. But she's been making my life awful. Mom stood up and moved between us. Emma, if you've been hurting your sister. I haven't touched her. My voice cracked wide open. Maybe she did it herself. The whole room went still. Brianna's eyes went wide. Fresh tears came. You think I'd actually hurt myself just to set you up? Yes. I was full-on yelling now, desperate. Because you do this. You've been doing this for years. You took Mom's money and blamed me. You broke Dad's watch and blamed me. This is what you do. Dad took a step toward me. Have you been bullying your little sister, Emma? Making her life miserable? No. God, no. Please just listen. I've heard enough. His fist hit the counter. Please. There is nothing to talk about. Mom's voice went quiet. Disappointed. The worst voice she had. I thought we raised you better. Brianna sobbed into her hands. Perfect. Absolutely picture perfect. I looked at her. Really looked. And right then she looked back at me and her eyes were dry. Calm. Just watching to see what would happen next. You're lying, I said. Barely a whisper. I'm not, she said. And her voice didn't shake. Not one bit. I turned back to Dad. Please. You have to believe me. I would never hurt her. Not another word. His voice went totally flat. Something is wrong with you. You're sick. That word landed like a punch. Sick. You need help. But right now, he pointed at the front door, I need you out of my house. Get out. I don't need a sick daughter like you. I looked at Mom, begging her without saying anything. Say something. Stop him. Tell him this is crazy. She turned away, kept her arm around Brianna. I grabbed my jacket off the hook. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely zip it. The door slammed behind me. Through the front window I could see Brianna watching me walk off the porch into the rain. She wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. The rain hit me like a wall. Cold and heavy. I was soaked in about 5 seconds. I stood on the porch for a minute waiting for Dad to open that door. Say he went too far. Come get me. The door stayed shut. So I walked. Nowhere to go. Just away. Away from Brianna's smile. Away from parents who had decided I was broken and done. My phone was at 8%. Called my friend Kayla. No answer. Called my friend Jessica. Straight to voicemail. It was Friday night. Everyone was home, warm with their families. Not me. I headed for the library. Maybe I could wait the storm out there. Locked. Dark. Nobody home. Closest bus station was 2 miles away. If I could get there, I could at least sit inside somewhere warm and figure out my next move. So I walked. My shoes soaked through right away. Water squishing with every single step. My jacket glued itself to my skin. I was so cold my teeth wouldn't stop clicking together. I just kept telling myself to keep moving. One foot, then the other. Keep going. I was still a mile from the station when I started thinking about turning back and knocking on that door and just begging. But then I thought about Dad's face. Sick daughter. And I kept walking. I didn't see the headlights until it was almost too late. I was crossing at an intersection. The light was green, I know it was green, but the rain was coming down so hard the whole world was just gray water and wind. Car came out of nowhere. Lights blinding. Horn blaring. Brakes screaming on wet road. I tried to jump back. I wasn't fast enough. The impact threw me sideways. I hit the hood, then the pavement. My head cracked hard against the asphalt. Pain blew through my skull like something white and hot and total. I couldn't move. Couldn't get air. Rain poured into my eyes and mouth. Everything was sideways and wrong. I heard a car door slam. Footsteps running. Flashing through puddles toward me. Oh my God. Oh my God. A woman's voice. Scared. Can you hear me? Don't move, okay? Stay still. I'm calling 911 right now. Her hands touched my shoulder. Careful. Gentle. Stay with me. What's your name? I blinked. Her face wouldn't come into focus. Dark hair. Rain running down her face. She looked like someone I'd seen before. My parents, I managed. Barely a sound. Your parents? Okay, give me their number. I'll call them. They don't, I coughed. Tasted blood. They don't want me. Her face changed completely. What? Kicked me out. Said I'm sick. Don't want me. She stared at me. Rain pouring down between us. And something shifted behind her eyes. I could see it even then. Horror. Recognition. Something. You're going to be okay, she said. But her voice wasn't steady. I promise. You're going to be okay. Sirens in the distance. Getting closer. Her face was the last thing I saw before everything went black. Before I tell you what happened at that hospital, I need to pause right here. Because if you've ever felt like the family that was supposed to protect you was the exact thing you needed protecting from, drop a comment right now. Just say, I felt that. You are not alone. Not even close. Subscribe to Silent Revenge if you're not already on here. Okay. Back to the hospital. I don't remember the ambulance ride. I don't remember arriving. My first real memory is sound. Machines beeping. Fluorescent lights buzzing. That sharp antiseptic smell. And a voice steady in control. She's got a bad concussion. Possible internal bleeding. She needs overnight observation at least. I tried to open my eyes. Too heavy. Everything hurt. I'm staying, the same voice said. Ma'am, are you family? I'm the person who hit her with my car. I'm not leaving until her parents get here. Time passed. I drifted in and out. Then I heard new voices. Familiar ones. We're Emma Carter's parents. Dad. Tight. Stiff. Mr. and Mrs. Carter. The woman's voice again. Cold now. Professional. I'm Dr. Caroline Webb, University of Michigan. A pause. Mom made a small sound. You're the researcher. I've read your work. I'm also the person who hit your 15-year-old daughter with my car tonight, Dr. Webb said. She was alone. soaking wet, on a highway in a major storm. I need to understand why. Silence. We had a family situation, Dad said carefully. A discipline issue. A discipline issue. She repeated it slow, letting each word land by itself. What kind of discipline issue puts a kid alone on a highway at 11 o'clock at night? It wasn't like... Before she lost consciousness, your daughter told me something. Dr. Webb's voice didn't go up. It actually got quieter, which was somehow worse. She told me her parents didn't want her anymore. That you called her sick. Silence. Then Brianna's voice, small and scared. Emma's making that up. She was barely conscious. Which means she had no reason in the world to make anything up. Footsteps. Someone moving away. Then Dr. Webb's voice from across the room. I need to speak with a social worker. That won't be necessary, Dad said, trying to sound like he was in charge. Sir, the moment you sent a minor child out into a storm, this stopped being a private family situation. Her footsteps came back. I felt her hand close around mine. Warm. Solid. I'm not leaving until I know she's safe. A different voice then, a police officer. Asking questions. Mom's voice shook when she answered. I managed to get my eyes open just a little. Blurry shapes. Moving outlines. Dad in the doorway. Brianna half hidden behind him. Dr. Webb saw me immediately. She's waking up. Everyone out. Now. She's our daughter, Dad started. And I'm the person in charge of this room. Out. The door closed. Dr. Webb leaned close. Her hand held mine tight. You're safe now, she whispered. I promise you. You're safe. I wanted to believe that so bad. Safe felt like a word from a different language. I hadn't felt it in years. I shut my eyes and let the dark take me back. When I woke up 3 days later, my parents were gone. Dr. Caroline Webb was still there. She had kept her promise. Concussion was bad. I spent 4 days in that hospital. Dr. Webb came every single day. She brought books. She sat in that hard plastic chair for hours. She talked to me about college, about what I could build, about a future I'd never actually let myself picture before. Mom and Dad visited once. Dropped off a bag of clothes and some homework. Stood at the foot of my bed like they were strangers in a waiting room. Stiff. Uncomfortable. We're glad you're okay, Mom said. Dad nodded. You gave us a real scare. No sorry. No explanation. No asking if I wanted to come home. Brianna never came at all. On day 5, a social worker showed up. Her name was Ms. Patricia Torres. Gentle eyes and a calm voice. She asked me about my home, my family, that night in the storm. I told her all of it. Brianna's lies. Mom and Dad picking her side every single time. The words sick daughter hanging in that doorway like they were carved there. Ms. Torres wrote everything down. Emma, you have options here. You don't have to go back. Where else would I even go? The door opened. Dr. Webb stepped in. She could stay with me. I just stared at her. I've already started the paperwork for a temporary foster placement, she said, looking at Ms. Torres. I want to be considered. Why would you do that? My voice broke. You don't even know me. Dr. Webb sat down on the edge of my bed. Calm. Steady. Because someone did the same thing for me once. When I was 16, my stepdad kicked me out. My English teacher, a woman named Mrs. Alcott, took me in. Changed my whole life. She looked right at me. You are smart, Emma. You have potential that most people never get to see up close. Don't let anyone in that house tell you you're sick. Don't let anyone take that light from you. I started crying before I even knew it was coming. I'll understand if you want to go home, she said softly. But if you want something different, I'm right here. I made my choice right there in that hospital room. I chose different. 6 months later, I was living in Dr. Webb's house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and on the inside, I was a completely different person. Her house was quiet, calm, full of books and houseplants and soft music and the kind of peace I didn't know actually existed inside four walls. She gave me the guest room and told me to make it mine. I painted it deep teal and hung a big science poster above the desk. She told me to call her Caroline. She brought me into her whole world: university talks, research events, dinners where smart people argued about systems and access and how to actually change things. Education is freedom, she always said. Nobody can take that from you. I went all in on school. Straight A's weren't just grades anymore, they were proof. Proof I wasn't broken. Proof I wasn't sick. Proof I was worth something real. Caroline taught me about grant writing, about scholarships, about the organizations that exist to catch the kids who fall through the gaps. You're going to do something that matters, she told me one night at dinner. Pasta and salad. Normal and warm. I can see it in how your mind works. I thought about my old family sometimes. Wondered if Brianna had ever come clean. Wondered if Dad ever heard those words back in his own head at night. But mostly I didn't think about them at all. Through old friends I heard Brianna was still the golden child. Still the star of every room. Mom and Dad had taken every single photo of me off the walls. Cleared me out like I'd never lived there. Fine, I thought. Erase me. I'm building something better. College was a full scholarship to the University of Michigan, same school as Caroline. I majored in education policy and social justice, minored in psychology. I wanted to get inside the systems, figure out why some kids got saved and others just disappeared. I graduated with top honors. Caroline cried at my ceremony. I am so proud of you, she whispered. So incredibly proud. I got hired right away as a research coordinator in the university's education department, and at 25, an idea started growing in my head that I couldn't shake loose. A scholarship program for students coming from impossible situations, kids who'd been kicked out, left behind, forgotten. Kids who just needed one person to bet on them. I called it the Fresh Start Scholarship Fund. Caroline helped me write the grant proposals. We got funding from 4 different organizations. Launched the pilot at 1 university. Then 3. Then 7. By the time I was 26, we'd given out over $200,000 in scholarships and helped 53 students stay in school, stay housed, stay alive. People started paying attention. Local news covered it. Education journals wrote about it. I gave talks, did interviews, always kept my personal story vague. A 15-year-old who was told she didn't belong. Never named names. Then one afternoon my friend and colleague David Park knocked on my office door. Emma, you're being looked at for keynote speaker at a graduation ceremony. Which school? Lakeside State University. Over in Canton. My stomach dropped straight to the floor. That was Brianna's school. You okay? David asked. My sister graduates from there this spring, I said quietly. He sat down. You want me to say no? I looked at my desk. The stack of Fresh Start applications sitting right there. 53 students. 53 second chances. What's the theme of the ceremony? I asked. Resilience and equity. The university president asked for you by name. She said your work is exactly what this ceremony should be about. My work. Built from being thrown out. Built from a storm. Built from being called sick. Do I get full say over my speech? Complete say. They just want you there. I thought about Brianna sitting in her cap and gown in that auditorium. Mom and Dad in the audience, proud and happy and completely clueless. 13 years of silence about to walk right up on that stage. Let me talk to Caroline first, I said. That night at dinner I laid the whole thing out. They have no idea I exist like this. No idea what I've built. They probably think I'm still somewhere out there, still broken. I paused. Or maybe they just don't think about me at all. Caroline put down her fork. What do you want to happen? I want to close this chapter. Not with anger, with truth. And if the truth hurts them, I looked at her, they hurt me first. Is any part of this about getting back at them? No, I said. And I meant every bit of it. It's about showing them who I became in spite of them. Revenge hurts people. This is just the truth. She reached across the table and held my hand. Then do it on your terms. Head high. Walk in like you own the whole room. I called David first thing the next morning. Tell the president I'll be there. "'Kay, before we get to graduation day, I need you to stay right here with me. 'Cause what happened when I walked out on that stage? I promise you didn't see it coming. Not even I fully saw it coming. But first, if you've ever had to start completely over with nothing after someone you loved walked away from you, drop a fire emoji in the comments. I see every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to Silent Revenge yet, now is the time. Let's keep going." I got dressed slow and careful that morning. Navy blazer. Clean white blouse. Caroline's grandmother's pearl earrings, she made me take them, said they were for exactly this kind of moment. I stood in front of the mirror for a long minute. I looked steady. Confident. Nothing like the soaked, scared 15-year-old who'd been told she was too broken to keep. Campus was something else. Old brick buildings. Wide lawns. Graduates everywhere in their caps and gowns, families taking pictures, kids laughing, that good kind of nervous energy buzzing in the air. I got there early. Met with University President Sandra Walsh in her office. "Ms. Carter, we are genuinely honored to have you here. What you've built is just extraordinary. Thank you. I hope it means something to the students." David walked me backstage. Organized chaos. Faculty fixing their robes, staff testing microphones, graduates sneaking looks through the curtains. I flipped through the graduation program. And there it was, row 4. Brianna Carter. Bachelor of Arts Communications. My heart kicked hard. "You good?" David asked. "Yeah. I'm ready." Caroline showed up in a deep green dress looking like the most proud person on earth. She hugged me long and tight. "You've got this, baby." "I know." Head high. Truth clear. She kissed my cheek and went to find her seat, front row, stage right. I watched her walk away and thought about Mrs. Alcott, the teacher who'd taken Caroline in when she was 16. One act of kindness. One person saying yes. Rippling forward 40 years through Caroline, through me, through 53 kids who still had a shot at a real life because of it. One person. One choice. Changes everything. The auditorium was packed. Hundreds of voices filling the space. Somewhere out in those seats, Mom and Dad were settling in. Middle section probably. Good view. Happy and proud, waiting for their daughter's big day. No idea who was about to walk out on that stage. President Walsh touched my shoulder. 2 minutes. I breathed. From backstage I could see the edge of the stage, the podium, the lights, the ocean of faces out there. "Here," David said quietly and handed me the scholarship folder. Official letterhead, my name, my title, photos of our students. Something to hold on to. I held it. Then President Walsh stepped to the mic. "Welcome, graduates, families, and honored guests. Today we celebrate resilience, achievement, and the limitless potential standing in front of us right now." Applause. Real and warm. Our keynote speaker has given her career to making sure every student, no matter where they started, has a real shot at a real future. Please welcome the founder and director of the Fresh Start Scholarship Fund, Ms. Emma Carter. The room filled with applause. I stepped into the light. The stage was huge. My heels clicked against the floor. The lights were hot and bright. Faces blurred out beyond the front rows into one big sea of gowns and proud families. And then I found them. Row 4. Brianna. Cap and gown. Honor cord around her neck. She was mid-clap, leaning sideways to say something to the girl next to her. Then she looked up at the stage. Her hands stopped moving. Completely frozen mid-clap. The smile fell off her face. Confusion. Recognition. Then pure shock. Her mouth opened just a little. No sound at all. Behind her, row 9, Mom and Dad. Till clapping. Till just being polite audience members who hadn't looked closely yet. I walked to the podium. Adjusted the mic, looked out at the room. Brianna's face had gone white. Her friend nudged her. She didn't react. Caroline was front row, stage right. She gave me one small nod. I gripped the sides of the podium. Good morning. Thank you so much, President Walsh, for that kind welcome. My voice went out clean and clear across every corner of that auditorium. Dad's head snapped up. I watched him lean forward and squint, trying to place the voice he was hearing. Mom's hand went to her chest. It's an honor to be here today. I want to talk to you about resilience, about what really happens when everything gets stripped away from you and you find out who you actually are on the other side. The room went quiet. Let me tell you about a 15-year-old girl, I said, keeping my voice easy and level. She was told she didn't belong, that something was fundamentally wrong with her, that she was too broken, too sick to keep. Mom grabbed Dad's arm. I could see it from the stage. One night, in the middle of a violent storm, she was told to leave. Told she wasn't wanted. Put out into the rain with no phone, no money, and nowhere to go. Whispers started moving through the crowd. People shifting in their seats. Leaning toward each other. She walked alone in that storm for hours. And then she was hit by a car. Audible gasps from around the room. Brianna had gone completely, utterly still. Like someone had hit pause on her. Face the color of the walls. But someone stopped. Someone got out of that car in the pouring rain and stayed. Someone looked at her and saw potential instead of a problem. Caroline's eyes were shining. She was smiling so big. That person became her family. Her mentor. Her mom in every way that actually counts. I let the silence sit for a moment. That 15-year-old girl was me. The whole auditorium went dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop from the back row. Dad stood up halfway. Mom pulled him back down by the arm. Both of them staring at the stage with their mouths open. Brianna looked like she wanted to fall straight through her chair. The girl next to her whispered something. Brianna shook her head, tiny, quick. Students nearby were starting to look at her. Putting it together. I'm here today because Dr. Caroline Webb. I looked right at her and she was already crying happy tears, did not give up on me when my own family did. She showed me that being rejected is not the end. It's the beginning. The Fresh Start Scholarship Fund was built from that experience. It exists for the students who've been told they're not enough, who've been abandoned, written off, left behind. Because being rejected does not define you. I looked straight at Brianna, eye to eye, clear as day. What you do after that does. A woman somewhere in the back whispered loud enough for 3 rows to catch it. Wait, is that her actual family sitting there? I learned that family is not always the people you're born to. Sometimes family is a choice. Sometimes it's the person who chooses you when everybody else has already walked away. The standing ovation started slow. Students first, then faculty, then families, building and building until that auditorium was straight up thunder. Dad stayed sitting, pale, hands covering his face. Mom stood, weak clapping, tears rolling down her face. Brianna did not move. I stepped back from the podium. The ceremony kept going. Names got called. Brianna Carter, Bachelor of Arts, Communications. Brianna walked to the stage. Her smile was tight and stiff. Her hand shook when she took the diploma. The applause was thin and scattered. She got off stage fast, melted into the crowd of graduates. I watched her friends immediately close in around her. Urgent faces, quiet voices, Brianna shaking her head, trying to explain something that couldn't be explained away. I slipped out a side door and found Caroline in the courtyard outside. "You did it," she said, and hugged me so hard I almost laughed out loud. "I really did. How do you feel?" I took a second and actually thought about it. "Free," I said. Like I put something down that I'd been carrying so long I forgot I was carrying it. David came around the corner. Wow. I had no idea. "Are you okay? Your parents are asking to see you. They're over at the side entrance." My stomach got tight. "Do I have to?" "No way. I can get security right now." "No." I smoothed down my blazer. 5 minutes. On my terms. Caroline stepped up right beside me without saying a word. They were by a pillar near the side door. Dad. Mom. Brianna hovering a step behind them like a shadow. Dad looked old. 10 years older than the guy in Brianna's graduation posts. Gray at his temples. Shoulders caved in. Mom's mascara was all the way down her face in 2 long dark streaks. I stopped 3 feet away. Kept it professional. Kept it real. "You wanted to talk." Dad's mouth opened and closed. "Emma, we had no idea you'd be here." "I know you didn't." "You look," Mom's voice broke. "You look so good." "I am good." Caroline made sure of that. Caroline stood just behind me and to the right. Quiet. Solid. "We owe you an apology," Dad said. "You owe me a whole lot more than that. But an apology is somewhere to start." "We were wrong," Mom said. "Completely wrong. We should have listened. We should have. You should have protected me." My voice stayed even. Not mean. Just the plain truth. That's the whole job. You picked Brianna's lie over my truth. Called me sick. You put me out in a storm when I was 15 years old. Brianna flinched. Tears dropping. "I've regretted that night every single day," Dad said. And this time his voice completely broke open. "Every day, Emma. Every one." "God," I said. I meant it as fact, not as a hit. "Can we sit down somewhere?" Mom reached toward me. "Just us? As a family?" "We're not a family." "Easy. Clear. You made that clear 13 years ago. We want to make it right." "There's nothing to make right. You made your call. I made mine." David showed up right then with the scholarship folder. He handed it to me, cover page out. University seal. My name. My title. Fresh Start Scholarship Fund, Senior Director. Dad's eyes locked onto it. You actually built all of this?" "Yes." Mom reached out and gently touched the folder. Pinned it. Looked at the numbers, over $200,000. 53 students helped so far. Her face crumpled completely. Right then, President Walsh walked over, zero idea what she was walking into. "Ms. Carter." That was the most powerful speech we've had in years. The students won't stop talking about it. "Thank you, President Walsh." She turned to Mom and Dad, full of warm energy. "You must be Emma's family. You must be so incredibly proud." Silence sat heavy in the air. Caroline stepped right into it, smooth as anything. "They are. Aren't you?" Dad stared at the ground. His jaw moved. "Yes," he finally got out. "Very proud." President Walsh shook my hand and moved on. I looked at Dad. "You never asked," I said quietly. "You took my pictures off the walls, erased me. You never once tried to find out what happened to me after that night." "I tried to find you," Mom whispered. "After the hospital. You were just gone. I needed you not to find me. I needed room to actually heal." "Did you?" Dad asked. "Heal?" "Yes." I held his eyes. "No thanks to you." Then something I didn't plan on happened. 3 of Brianna's closest college friends walked over. One of them touched Brianna's arm. "Is this actually your sister?" Brianna nodded. Couldn't get words out. "You told us you were an only child." "You told us she died in a car accident when you were 12. My eyebrows went up. "You told people I was dead." Brianna's face went red. "It was just easier then." "Easier than what?" The friend's voice went cold and flat. "Than telling people your family threw her out?" "It wasn't like—" "I'm really sorry," the third girl said, and she looked at me, not Brianna. "I'm so sorry this happened to you." All 3 of them walked away together. Brianna stood there watching them go. Alone. "Brianna," Mom started. "Just don't." Brianna's voice broke. "Please." She looked at me. Really looked, maybe for the first time in 13 years. "I'm sorry," she said. "I was so jealous of you. You were good at everything and people liked you without you even trying. I had to work for every little bit of attention I got and it still never felt like enough. When Tyler told somebody he thought you were pretty, I just broke. I planned the whole thing. The screenshots. The bruise. All of it. I knew Mom and Dad would believe me. They always believed me. I know. I didn't think Dad was actually going to put you out. I thought they'd just yell at you and make you apologize. When I saw you walking into that rain," her voice gave out. "I watched from the window. I felt sick. But I was too scared to take it back." She wiped her eyes. "I've been lying to everyone for 13 years. Told people you died because it was easier than saying what I did. And now," she looked at where her friends had been standing. "I've got nobody left. Brianna." I stepped just a little closer. "I don't hate you. I truly don't. I've forgiven you for my own sake, not yours. But I don't want any kind of relationship with you. You need to respect that. Can't we just—" "No." Firm. Final. But not mean. "You had 13 years to tell the truth. That's not a kid's mistake anymore. That's a pattern you chose to keep. And I'm not going to be part of it." I looked at Caroline. "Can we go?" "Right behind you." She linked her arm through mine. We walked away. I did not look back. Behind me I could hear Brianna crying. Could hear Dad say my name, quiet and desperate. Kept walking. My phone didn't stop for days. Voicemails from Dad. "Please just call back. We're so sorry. Please." Long emails from Mom full of apologies and reasons. We were under so much stress back then. Brianna was going through a hard time. We just didn't understand. I didn't reply. Work kept me grounded. Scholarship applications came in 3 times faster after the ceremony. Someone had recorded part of my speech and put it online. 50,000 views. Then 100,000. Then the comments just kept coming. "This woman is something else. Family isn't blood. It's who actually shows up." I needed to hear this today more than anything. I cried watching this. Someone find out what university this is. A few days later an email showed up from a girl I'd never met, one of Brianna's old college friends. Subject line, "You deserve to know what's happening." Inside were screenshots from their group chat. Brianna's whole social circle was pulling away. One message. I can't believe she told everyone her sister died. That's not a fun little story, that's messed up. Another. I'm pulling her invite to my wedding. I can't deal with that energy. The life Brianna had carefully built for herself was coming apart. Part of me felt something about that. A small part. The bigger part only felt relief. 2 weeks after graduation, Dad showed up at my office. My assistant called back to me. There's a Mr. Carter out here. Says he's your dad. No appointment. Give me 5 minutes. Then send him in. I closed my laptop. Straightened my desk. Took a breath. He walked in looking like he'd aged 10 years since the ceremony. Gray. Soft around the shoulders. Uncertain. Like a man who had finally really understood the size of what he'd done. Thank you for letting me in, he said. Sit down. I've got a meeting in 20 minutes. He sat across from my desk like he was interviewing for something. Emma. Brianna told us everything. Last week she broke down and came clean. The screenshots. The bruise. All of it. Everything she set up. I know it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't. We look at that empty room, he said. His hands were shaking. He pressed them flat on his legs. The blank wall where your school pictures used to be. Every single day. And we know what we threw away. You're right. That doesn't come back. Can you ever forgive us? I leaned back in my chair and looked at him. This man who once pointed at a door and called me sick. Who stood there and watched me walk out into a storm. Forgiveness isn't even the thing, Dad. Trust is. And trust doesn't just show back up because someone finally says sorry. He nodded. Tears on his face. There's nothing you can do to fix this, I said quietly. It's too late for what I needed back then. But it's not too late for who you decide to be going forward. I stood up. I have a meeting. 3 days later, an email from Brianna hit my inbox. Subject, I'm sorry. I almost deleted it. My finger actually hovered over trash. But I opened it. Emma, I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I don't deserve your time. But I need to say this once, and after that, if you want me gone forever, I'll go. I was jealous of you in a way I didn't even have words for when I was 12. You were just good, naturally, easily good, and I had to perform and try and cry just to get noticed. And it still never felt like enough. When Tyler called you pretty, something in me just broke apart. So I planned it. All of it. The screenshots. The bruise. I knew Mom and Dad would believe me. They always did. But I didn't actually think Dad would put you out in a storm. I thought they'd just yell and ground you. When I saw you walking away down that street in the rain, I felt the worst thing I have ever felt. And I was too scared and too proud to take it back. So I buried you. Told people you were dead because it was easier than saying what I actually did. And now I'm watching everything I built fall apart around me. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just need you to know I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Brianna. I read it twice. Then I replied. Short. Done. Brianna, I hear you. And I accept that you were young. But you had 13 years to tell the truth and you chose not to every single day. I've forgiven you for my own peace, not yours. But I don't want contact. Please respect that. She stopped writing. The speech kept spreading online. A national education journal ran a piece on the Fresh Start Scholarship Fund. A local TV station interviewed 3 of our scholarship students. One girl looked right into the camera and said, Ms. Carter's program kept me in school. Kept me alive. I honestly don't know where I'd be without it. Applications came in faster than ever. For more schools wanted to partner with us. The Michigan State Board of Education sent an official recognition. David knocked on my office door. You're kind of a big deal now. I laughed. I just wanted to help some kids. Emma, you're changing the whole system. That's bigger than you think. The Fresh Start Scholarship Fund was running at 10 universities. We'd helped 83 students stay enrolled, stay housed, stay hopeful. Corner office. A raise. Invitations coming in from national conferences. I flew to Chicago with Caroline to present at one of them. We stayed in a nice hotel and talked until midnight about everything except my birth family. You've built yourself such a good life, she said at dinner. Because of you. Because of you, she said right back. I gave you a door. You walked through it and built the whole house. On the 1-year mark of graduation, Caroline turned 60. We threw her a party. Colleagues, friends, students she'd poured into for 30 years. People who had chosen her and been chosen by her and built something real around her. I gave a toast. To the woman who taught me that family is something you build, not something you're just handed. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for always showing up. You are the reason 83 students right now believe that somebody is in their corner. She cried happy tears. I thought about Mrs. Alcott, the English teacher who had taken Caroline in when she was 16 and had nothing. That one yes rippling forward 40 years. Through Caroline to me. Through me to 83 people. Through them to whoever they'll show up for someday. One person. One choice. Everything changes. Mom and Dad are still in my phone. I haven't deleted their names. But I haven't called either. They're part of my past, not my now, and definitely not my future. Brianna sends me a short note every few months. Thinking about you. Hope you're doing okay. I read them. I don't write back. Maybe someday I will. Maybe not. I'm good either way. Caroline is Mom now. Not Dr. Webb. Not even Caroline. Mom. She's the first person I call when something good happens. Her opinion is the one that matters. Her name is on every emergency form I fill out. Blood didn't make her my mom. 13 years of showing up did. Every year on the anniversary of that October storm, I drive through Columbus and past my old house. I park across the street. I look at the windows. That front door. And I think, that girl made it. She survived being called sick. Being thrown away like she didn't matter. Being told she was too broken to love. And she didn't just make it through. She built something. If you're in a storm right now, real or the kind that's just inside your head, hear me say this. You can make it through it. You can actually thrive on the other side of it. Just because someone gave up on you does not mean you get to give up on yourself. Set your boundaries. Pick your family. Build something that means something. And don't you ever let anybody tell you that you're too sick, too broken, or too much. You are enough. Exactly as you are. Right now. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end of this story. If something in here hit you, if something felt real, hit that like button right now. Costs you nothing and it helps this story reach somebody out there who really needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Silent Revenge for more stories about surviving, setting boundaries, and building the life people said you couldn't. Drop your city and the time right now in the comments. I read every single one. And if you know someone who's been counted out, written off, or thrown away by the people who were supposed to love them most, share this with them. You might be the one person who changes everything for them. I'll see you in the next story.